Well, there we go. Looks like
We're
we're
late. It's
live.
not my fault.
I know. Why hasn't it gone live yet on YouTube? I hate when it does that.
Well, there's like a 30-second delay, man.
There it is.
Calm
Yeah,
down.
I know.
It'll happen.
It happens. It's because I was auto-directed here by Culture Casino. Hello, Culture Casino and Culture Raid. So I think there was a little bit of a longer delay. YouTube. Fun stuff. Also live streaming to Rumble, which we have like 10 people subscribe to the channel, and we'll see if anybody watches over there. How you doing, Slender?
Not too bad. I had some technical difficulties with my audio, but I think I sorted them.
Nice. It's coming through good for me. Hopefully chat can confirm that they can hear everything well and good. And Mad's not here yet to distract from the Palworld conversation you wanted to have, so that's good.
Yeah, I want to chase that Pal-gorithm.
Yeah, I got some fun stuff to say. Yep, the culture raid is here. So, good stuff, good stuff. Yeah, last week we were going to talk about Palworld, and I know I can guarantee that Mad was bored because that's when he just started going into was that the rapper conversation?
Yeah, he wouldn't let that one go because he wanted to keep that conversation derailed for as long as he possibly could.
Yeah, we ended up having going a deep dive on the top white rappers of all time. Which, I mean, everybody knows who's going to come in number one. There's not really even a debate about it. So, what's the? Yeah. I'll be honest. I didn't even know the rest of the list anyway. We talked about it. It's like, who are these people? I have no idea. Don't know. Oh, it looks like our audio is.
What the hell
like
does that even
oil,
mean?
But low for half.
Which half?
It's close enough. I mean, I can live with that.
Hold on.
Do I need to get right up on this thing? Is that helping?
Do we have to get right up? Have you ever seen like the video of guys who work in radio and they're just
welcome
right
to the
on
smooth
the
sounds of Radio AA, coming to you live right now.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know. Maybe I should stop doing this. This is kind of weird. I'm getting uncomfortable.
Apparently, as per
I'll
usual,
turn my gain down, but I'm not taking my face off the microphone.
There you go. As per usual, I'm doing ASMR, and Slender is screaming in your face. So there we go.
But that's actually how I sound. Like,
yeah,
I can't help that. I'm loud.
Let's see. I turned off the automatic mic adjustment. Maybe that's what was turning my volume down. So I went into the settings for the audience. Let it not be said that I don't try to make adjustments so that everybody can be happy. Oh, Tina says much better. That's awesome. Tina is our number one fan, so she would be the most qualified to make past judgment on if it was better or not. Copy's the one getting in my head because Copy's leaving comments like, "Are you doing ASMR? Are you?" I was like, "Am I doing ASMR? I don't even know."
I mean, your voice is basically just ASMR. Like, you can't help that. That's your voice.
I've been told I should be on NPR before by people in my real life job, so I was like, I guess I'll take that.
Bride of Slender says he is loud. Are you talking about me or stop? We're trying to set levels here, woman.
Well, I mean, she's hearing it live and through the YouTubes, so she's not the one. She's got real stereo, so I don't know if she's the most qualified. But we've got a fun show. Like I said, we've got the Palworld conversation we were going to have.
I started a Palworld server, by the way.
I know you told me the Conan server has been destroyed.
No, the Conan server still exists. I took down my Ark server and converted it over to Palworld.
Yeah, I would. Jane Theory might be upset if the Conan server went away.
I don't think Jane Theory would be upset if the Conan server went away. She already hit us up once and asked if any of us were playing Palworld.
That's true. We should tell her we've got a Palworld server. So, well, you have a Palworld server. I have to.
I mean, I set it up earlier today. I had a lot of work to do today. I jumped in about 30 minutes before this, and I think I made a bench and started to freeze. So I'll see what else it has to offer later.
Yeah. I mean, it's Pokemon. It's a survival Pokemon game where you can tame them into fighting for you. I mean, it sounds fun.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
not the way-
interested.
I mean, it's taking Pokemon to the next level with like guns and weapons. Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that.
And it's not Pokemon. It's legally distinct from Pokemon.
Honestly, the character that is colored like Pikachu to me seems more like Totoro. I don't know if when we get some of the images on screen, we can talk about that. I mean, you know,
Okay, well,
my
you
neighbor.
have gone beyond my knowledge of Pokemon
No, no, no.
because I never watched it.
No, no. I'm talking about my neighbor Totoro, the
Oh, the cat
Mizuzaki.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, well, like let's do it. Let's pull up some of your visual aids that you have.
Well, I don't have any specific visual aids for Palworld prepared. I prepared visual aids based on the Palworld controversy.
Well, there you go. I mean, I'm sure that character will be in there. So
So
I still want to see these visual aids.
let's go through our slideshow. I put together several things because the argument that Palworld is just a Pokemon ripoff, in addition to being somewhat asinine in its nature, should come as no surprise to anyone who's been alive for more than 20 years. Here we go. I will do a little screen share here and I will show you what I am talking about. Yeah, this is the one. Boom. Anybody remember this?
Oh, Dante speak in Volcano. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Or
also? I'm sure you're about to roll into Armageddon and Deep Impact.
I think that's in my slides. There's this one that I just discovered
Splatoon
yesterday, I
and
believe.
Foam Star.
They're basically the same game from what I've seen. It's like, okay, you've got different skins, slightly different game modes, but this is the same game. And this is Nintendo and Square Enix. So Nintendo, I mean, if you're going to start going after people, maybe Square Enix needs to be talked to as well. Moving right along, and I guess this one's technically not copying because the
Since
same
it's
people
all
made
Hanna
them all.
Barbera. Yeah.
But I mean, wow,
this is the
way to
one
apply the
slide.
formula, guys.
So last week when he sent me this one, and I was like, well, you know, those are all Hanna Barbera, right? They were just repeating their Scooby Doo concept again and again and again. He was
I mean,
like,
you
oh,
can rip yourself off to a certain degree, right?
yeah.
This one, I remember watching the first episode of Heroes and hearing the they give the exposition on the whole premise, and I'm like, oh, it's X-Men.
Yeah.
And
It
I
is.
hadn't seen the opening. The wife was watching it, and I came in and I was like, is this like a new X-Men thing? She's like, no, it's called Heroes. I'm like, but they just literally described the X-Men.
The characters were specifically like the cheerleader had Wolverine's healing factor. The
Yep.
one dude who could steal powers was basically Rogue.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's the X-Men. It's the X-Men. You can't tell me it's not the X-Men. Here you go.
There
You
we
were
go.
asking about that earlier.
Yep, Deep Impact and Armageddon, the far superior movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, look at that.
You know what the best part about that is both of those movies bombed in the theater.
That's because they both kind of sucked.
I was working when both came out, and I remember the trades were like, which one is going to succeed? And everybody who was a theater person was like, both are going to be bad.
Yeah. And it doesn't stop there. This one is just silly to me. But this is from an anime and a really old video game. If you've ever played Bubble Bobble, right?
Oh,
The
Bubble
one on the
Bobble.
left
I love
there
Bubble
is
Bobble.
yeah, the one on the left there is Baron von Blubba, I believe. He shows up if you take too long in a level. And I just always thought it was funny that in this anime, whenever this character Elias makes the silly face, it reminds me of Baron von Blubba for some reason.
So
And then I
what?
look and it's like, oh, it's even the same colors.
So what I'm getting at it and getting from you is that there's a long and storied tradition of ripping off concepts.
Yeah, it's called inspiration. You get it from somewhere. Oh, what's that? Oh
Is
my
that
God, are those
Dune
the
and Duke
same game?
Nukem?
No, that's Doom and Wolfenstein 3D.
Wolfenstein.
And
Okay.
Wolfenstein 3D is technically the original. Doom came about a year later. But like, if
like-
you looked at these, you would think they were the same franchise, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and first-person shooters at that time were they all had that one. I remember even the Star Wars one was a Dark Forces was the same style layout because it was just a grid map and
Yeah.
doing it. But man,
Yeah,
were they
and
still
then
fun?
yeah, but this is kind of my point. And then there's one of these ones here, which is a recent one, but like Player Unknown's Battlegrounds or PUBG was kind of the first battle royale game that really kind of got mainstream attention. There may have been others prior to that, but this was the first one where it was like 100 players. They're going to drop in somewhere on the map, and it's last man standing kind of situation. But now, if you look, these are all battle royale games. Fortnite is the one a lot of people know, and personally, I take more issue with Fortnite than I would with Palworld. For a simple fact that PUBG was a premise. It was a new game mode, a new style. It was very original as far as the gameplay went, and what you were doing. And it got so popular, suddenly a whole bunch of other games wanted to kind of jump on that bandwagon, as it were. And the studio that made PUBG is like a really small studio out of South Korea. And they asked people, please don't, please, we're not done yet, please don't. And Fortnite, a lot of people might not know this, but Fortnite was actually originally like a really shitty tower defense game that sucked and was a complete commercial failure. And Epic, a much bigger studio, was like, oh, well, everybody's loving this PUBG. Let's just reprogram Fortnite to be PUBG and beat them to final release. And that's exactly what they did. And they took over that entire market. I mean, PUBG lost a lot of its audience. I'm pretty, Fortnite dominates. Everybody knows Fortnite dominates at this point. But like that whole premise was stolen from another game. It wasn't like, oh, we stole the visuals. No, we stole the effing game. Play PUBG. You fly in on an aircraft over the map. You jump out at a time of your choosing, and you head for an area. Then you start grabbing stuff, and you try to be the last man standing. Fortnite. You fly in on an aircraft, and you jump out when you see fit.
Well,
then you hit the ground. You run out. You grab some stuff, and you try to be the last man standing.
But that's just what happens when you're a small studio and PUBG was really popular, and it was the same map because it was a alpha beta type setup where they were, like you said, they were a very small studio.
Very
trying
small
to do it
studio, still in
themselves.
early access. Yep.
So technically it was still early access, even though it was really huge. And you can't patent a game mode.
You can't.
So,
just like you can't patent cute monsters.
Yeah.
So like as we had this conversation kind of on the side before the show tonight, but it has always been my opinion that if you steal the guts of the game, that's a hell of a lot worse than stealing the look of a game. And Fortnite was a blatant stealing of the guts of a game. Like they just reskinned PUBG with inferior physics as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, they rode that wave. They're on top. So congratulations to them. But to me, that is a lot snakier than making monsters that look kind of like Pokemon. Because how many kids did you know that draw up their own Pokemon all the time? And if you looked at it at first glance, if they're a decent artist, it looks like a real Pokemon, but it's just something they made up. I mean, my kids used to do that.
And it's, I don't think I think Nintendo released a statement, even though they don't own Pokemon. Just, I think more to just kind of address, like that kept getting questions about it, so that's why they released a statement. I don't think they even cared. They know that they don't have any
No, Nintendo
grounds to do it.
released a statement to get everyone to shut the hell up.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, they just kept getting tired of people spamming their inboxes asking questions about it. But Nintendo knows, and even the Pokemon people know, they don't have anything to shut
no.
down Palworld.
And if they
it's
did,
gonna
we
just
know
keep
that
going.
Nintendo's lawyers are the most bloodthirsty sharks in all the world and would have gone after them a long time ago.
I mean, for God's sakes, Nintendo wasn't able to shut down Flappy Bird.
No, Nintendo protects its IP harder than anybody.
And you remember Flappy Bird was basically a 90% ripoff of the original Mario Brothers game. So
yeah, but the mechanics were nothing like that. The only leg they had to stand on with Flappy Bird was it's 8-bit and it has the green pipes.
Like, yeah, which really is why I don't think that they really couldn't go anywhere with it. And
no, I don't think
now
they could either.
I think Nintendo was smart enough to also know that Flappy Bird was a fad game, and they didn't really have to worry too much about it, pushing their intellectual property or anything. So, when Nintendo, people forget Nintendo's been around as a corporation for over 100 years. Like, Nintendo predates Walt Disney.
So, yeah, they didn't start with video games.
No, they started with just games, like card games and just games. And then they got
those old games that were made out of like wood.
Yeah, and they got into, electronic video game publishing with the Nintendo Entertainment System or the Famicom, depending on whether you got it first in Japan or in the United States. And if you go through the history of the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo with the cartridges, and if you really deep dive into that, Nintendo started really strong on trying to keep a closed system. You used to have to buy the cartridges from Nintendo if you were a game maker. So Nintendo had final say on if you could make a game for their system. And that ended up getting broken. You remember in the old days of Nintendo, there was the black cartridges for Nintendo?
Yeah.
Those were the once, I forget, I think it was EA. It was EA that figured out how to block the encryption system that Nintendo had built in to the cartridges and make their own cartridges, and those were the black Nintendo cartridges that EA started using.
So EA has been destroying gaming since before they were even destroying gaming.
Well, at the time, EA was actually being consumer friendly because when they did that, because they didn't have to pay to buy the cartridges from Nintendo, they pass the cost savings down to the consumer. So their games were about 25-30% less than regular Nintendo.
Believe me, if EA was doing something, it wasn't to be friendly to the consumer. No, it was to make more money.
No, you're confusing EA now with EA then. I mean, I don't want to... It's so hard to defend EA at this point. But remember, EA was actually very good for gamers for a long time. Till about the mid-late 90s, EA was solid. They were innovative. Madden, RBI based, they were making new things. They were making new types of games. They were innovating.
I want to address this question.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I want us both to address this question.
Okay. Honest question.
What camp are you in? I know what camp I'm in.
I would say that the answer is more nuanced than a yes or no, because there's a certain number of basic concepts that exist in the world in the creative world, and eventually your story is going to be boiled down, or your story, your art, your game, whatever, will be boiled down into something that'll fall into a category of, yeah, it's been done before, but you can still make it different in your own. So I'd say in that vein, what is the old saying in like writing, there's only ever 6 or 7 stories and everything's a variation of it. It's pretty much something like that. So I'd say, yeah, there's still plenty of room to make your own creative work. something that's new and different based on your twist, even though it may still have common tropes or common, stuff that comes down from the line. I mean, who would have thought that Tolkien would have been able to make an entire his own, like, he maybe created the genre that we know it, but I wouldn't say that all the people who are technically derivative of Lord of the Rings haven't made their own original works. Just because
I
it's got
don't
an elf.
disagree with any of that.
You agree?
No, I don't disagree with anything you said. However, I am going to say flat out no, because of the way the question is worded. Specifically, completely original. No, I don't think you can come up with anything completely original in this day and age. I don't think anyone's come up with anything completely original for probably thousands of years at this point. That being said, it's kind of like chicken, right? Like, you know how to make chicken. I know how to make chicken. Everybody knows how to make chicken. But what kind of spices do you put on your chicken? It's probably different than the kind of spices I put on my chicken. Probably different than the amount of spices I put on my chicken. Like, it's not the idea that gives you your originality. It's the way you prepare it.
Mm-hmm. And so I mean, I completely original. Yeah, looking at the specific wording, I would say you're right.
I think completely original is near
completely,
impossible.
yeah. I mean,
like if I make a couple hard-boiled eggs and then I scramble them up and then I take a shit on those hard-boiled eggs and then I set all that on a silk napkin and then I lay some azaleas around the outside of the silk napkin. Yeah, sure. Maybe that's art. Maybe nobody's done anything like that, but is it worth being completely original when I do that?
No, I would say that's probably not even completely original.
Like, I think all the good ideas have been used at least once.
You do remember there was
storytelling.
There was the Piss Jesus artwork that they put up in, I think it was the New York Modern
and again,
Art Gallery.
Was that really worth it?
No. So,
and I don't think it was art, and I don't think it was good.
Look, we've got one of our gaming lads over here.
What's up, man?
Yeah, we because Brahma was on his way for his vacation, we didn't have that this week, so it was sad. That was too bad. I missed having Boosh the duck. Like, what does Imp play as? What is his character? Smokey's the otter.
Isn't Imp a dog too? Doesn't he play another one of the dogs?
He might have the other dog. I know you're Officer Tambo.
Yeah, I play the Apex
bunny,
Predator.
The tactical bunny. Brahma bull is a bull. Is a little piggy with some horns, or little cow with some horns. Who was it? Was anyone as a pig? I don't think there was a pig.
Mm-mm.
I usually do the husky. Imp says he switches it up, so he tries to blend in. There you go. So
I'd see him playing the Shiba a lot, like the other dog, right?
Yeah. And we do those gaming streams usually Tuesday evenings, and they've been some fun times.
Tuesday nights streams, at 10 Eastern.
Yeah, you can check out some of the past streams. We leave our stuff up. We don't take it down or anything, so you can just look for the gaming streams if you wanted to enjoy some of that. It's good stuff. Oh, here you go. Keeps you guys guessing, keeps the damn rabbit off my ass.
Nothing will keep the rabbit off your ass, okay? I'm coming for all them asses.
Once you're on Officer Tambo's radar, you don't get a pass. He's gonna find you. The best part about playing the game is that Slender would get really frustrated. He got so mad the first couple weeks that we were doing it, until the backstory of his Officer Tambo character really like settled in, and then even if he's getting a little frustrated, you can just link it to the backstory and it'll be okay.
Yeah, as long as I can keep it in character, I'm good, man. I'm incredibly competitive, okay? Ring Tambo is not.
Now Imp is uncomfortable. Oh, this is good times. So I did go see Argyle last night.
Yeah,
I
I
figured,
saw most of Culture's review of Argyle. It sounded somewhere between average and good, but not great.
which is where I think I made a comment on his video that I would put it at like a 7 to 7.5, as a movie, which is slightly above average, entertaining
Eh,
movie.
I don't know if I'd watch a 7 or a 7.5, but I really like The Man from Uncle, and I like spy movies. They're fun.
Okay, so if you like spy movies, I think you'll actually have a better time in this movie. So a lot of people who were getting mad about it, the main thing that they were trying to go after it, at least specifically in our sphere of YouTube, was the lack of Henry Cavill. That Henry Cavill wasn't actually the star of this movie. And I think the advertising was pretty clear that he wasn't going to be. That it was clearly set up that the writer, in this case Bryce Dallas Howard, was writing a book series with an Agent Argylle, and the fantasy version of that Agent Argylle was Henry Cavill. And so it would be real life intermixed with vision, with stuff from her fake world. So, I mean,
Okay.
maybe I picked up on the trailer a little clearer than other people. I mean,
And I mean, why aren't you going to put Henry Cavill in the trailer? Like I think the problem is Henry Cavill. I mean, basically, he's an A-lister, right? Like, can we all agree he's an A-lister?
I think he is. I think he's gotten a bad break of things.
So if you see
Of
him in a
late.
trailer, I mean, you kind of automatically assume, oh, well, it's going to be about the A-lister, and maybe that's what threw people off.
All right, so I don't know if you have. So this was the official trailer. Let's just go through it real quick, and we'll see, because it's fairly clear at the very beginning to me where this is going, and then you tell me if you think it was misleading.
Okay.
I certainly hope you dance as well as you dress.
There's only one way to find out.
That's Henry Cavill.
Yep. I'm gonna stop it a lot because of the music.
Oh, well, you're going to have to stop it a lot more than that. This is an incredibly popular song.
Yeah. So we've got. I'm gonna just make sure that so far we haven't been hit yet. So everybody who's in the chat, if we get
you keep
taken
hitting
down,
play, we're going to get hit.
if you get well, I think it's like if it's more than 5 or 6 seconds, they'll get you. So anybody in chat, if we get taken down briefly, just hold on, because YouTube will just let you go once you're not doing
I
the
mean,
copyright.
you remember
in
when
the
we
channel.
watched Witcher Blood Origins? They came after us fast when we
And
showed
that was
that
on
wrong
mute.
scene.
And that was one. By the way, anybody who wants to go back and watch that, it was one of my favorite episodes because Slender was so friggin' mad going.
Nothing
through that
has
show.
made me angrier than the Witcher Blood Origins.
Yeah. All right. So here we go.
Some days I'm gonna be as angry, but
So I mean, we're opening up with
All right.
Cavill. Apparently FNT raked it over the coals. I mean, I'm gonna be a little more forgiving, I guess.
You and I, we're not so
you usually are.
Agent Argylle.
Right. So now we establish his name. He's Agent Argylle.
Ooh, that makes it tough because title.
Little help? Hold on.
Right. So this is our normal kind of spy movie look.
Yeah, things are happening.
We got hot girl.
The book is phenomenal, sweetie, but what happens next?
It's called a cliffhanger, mother. Ellie.
So right there, we're 40 seconds into the trailer.
Okay, well now I assume it's about the girl who's writing the book.
You see, so am I wrong to say that I don't understand why people were confused about the concept?
Maybe they were hoping this was more like a Princess Bride thing, and it'd be less about the girl writing the book and more about the characters and the story that she's writing.
I get it, but I mean, so I'm not wrong that I mean, this is pretty clear that just the way they did that this was that the Henry Cavill part was he was the literary character.
Okay, I'm
It's
gonna go
called
out on a limb
cop-out.
here, and this is a bit weird coming from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think certain people in our sphere are overly critical because they're trying to farm that rage. Like, if they like the movie, they're not going to be able to get as much content out of it, so they have to find a reason to hate the movie or the game or the thing, you know?
Yep.
And don't
So-
get me wrong, I get that this is coming from me. I am hypercritical of everything and hate a lot of movies.
I mean, but I think we're pretty fair too, because do you remember how positive we were about Dungeons and Dragons? And we were, if
Yeah.
there was a movie that we were all set to just be ready to just destroy, it
Yeah.
was going to be
And,
that
and
one.
are there things wrong with that movie? And another
Yeah.
example is with the Mario movie, right? I really like the movie, but that doesn't stop me from saying they girl bossed the fuck out of Peach, and I didn't like that part. But overall, I still really like the movie.
Tino's about to say the same thing. It's all hate watching now. So yeah, I'd rather enjoy. Like, here we go. And so now
I
we
would
move.
prefer to watch a movie, enjoy the movie. If I don't like the movie, I'll say I don't like the movie. If I do like the movie, I'll say I do like the movie. But whether I liked it or didn't like it, I should be able to point out what was good and what was bad.
Yeah, and here we go. So and now within 40 seconds of the trailer, we had the cool spy movie standard introduction. We clearly established that that was just a book, fake fantasy spy world, and that this girl in the redhead, Bryce Dallas Howard, is the writer. And now she's on a train.
And what is this?
Hey,
Okay,
there's
there's
a
a
cat
cat in
there.
there.
Oh my God, you're Ellie freaking Conway.
Author of Argylle series, Ellie Conway! I am such a fan.
I mean, we've now repeated again that she is the writer of the book about Agent Argylle. They show
We
you
don't-
like the mock-up.
We don't have to repeat anything at this point. Like, it is clear that this is the world the story is set in, and her story is a world tertiary to the main world the story is set in, and thus will not have as much going on in it.
Exactly.
Like, they've established that already.
Yep.
Yeah, what is it you do?
Espionage.
Would you sign my book?
Here we go. I love this book.
And Sam Rockwell, I've always liked Sam Rockwell. I've always found him to be a pretty compelling and entertaining actor. Do you remember in Galaxy Quest, he was the comic relief, the other crewman,
Yeah.
and
And I mean, they've got a joke going here. Like, he looks nothing like the spies that she described in her story. They're big, ripped, clean-cut dudes. He's a freaking
it was and
not
you
a
know
big
what?
guy.
That was one of the things that, like, as soon in the movie they immediately address that.
I like
And
that.
And he's like he says, he's like, oh, because he says, the main thing you get wrong is how you describe a spy. A spy is not going to look like that. He's going to look like me because I blend in, because you don't notice me.
Yeah. And I look kind of like a homeless guy, so you don't even want to look at me.
That's the
Like,
point. He's like, this is where it sets up the stuff on the train, because he's like, I blend in, you don't notice me, just like you didn't notice everyone else on this car.
Yeah, if Henry Cavill walks into a room, everybody's going to be looking. It makes
Yeah.
it hard to be a spy, you know?
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah. Pausing again, because now we're getting into the yeah, is that culture? I think they did rip off his look for how they designed Sam Rockwell.
Wait,
But-
wait. Are you saying Culture's a guy nobody's going to want to look at?
I'm saying he blends. No, but so it's I don't know what this argument. It really bothered me that would be what people were going so ragey about. Because maybe I'm just better at watching trailers. I never expected Henry Cavill to be the lead in this movie. It clearly was
know.
You could tell it was Sam Rockwell and Bryce Dallas Howard were going to be the leads of this movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything that's pissed me off yet. It looks pretty good.
Yep.
Who are these people?
Real life spies.
Why would they care about me?
Because you're a goddamn fortune teller, Ellie. What you wrote in your new book actually happened, and you can...
So that's how, clearly you're getting where the conceit's going to be. She's going to be flashing into her book scenes because that's relevant to what they're trying to figure out in the real spy situation.
But it's not going to be the main thrust of the
No.
movie. The main thrust of the movie is going to happen one level up in their reality.
And hey, thanks for joining us. And Bride of Slender, right? It was a fun movie. If you liked Kingsman or Kingsman 2 or The Kingsman, like, because those are all Matthew Vaughn movies, this is also a Matthew Vaughn movie. You're gonna like this one. He's doing the same style. It's the same kind of over the top spy movie kind of action. He just, instead of doing The Kingsman as the setup for it, he came up with a different entry point into the spy world. I've also always been a fan of Bryce Dallas Howard. I've thought she was always a pretty engaging actress, and I like her. I think she seems nice and genuine, and she's got a charisma on screen that works. That's why I thought the Jurassic World movies with her and Chris Pratt always were pretty good.
I've seen bits and pieces. I've never sat down and watched one of the Jurassic World movies because I always just said to myself, I had Jurassic Park. Like, I don't need another dinosaur movie. That one pretty much did it for me.
Yeah, I can get that.
Kicked a hornet's nest you didn't even know existed.
I'm in some really big trouble, Mom.
Oh, so now you're experimenting with drugs.
I want all assets.
I mean, I don't know. This movie looks really good to me, and I see a lot of faces of actors I really like. So, I don't know.
On them now. I need her to write the next chapter.
Yeah, so the trailer is living up to what I got in the theater.
No, it looks fun to me.
God, I hate that cat.
And
How would anyone think that Henry Cavill was the main character in this movie? He's barely been in the trailer.
And you can see where the Matthew Vaughn Kingsman style is right there, right in there. Vertical Horizon's great. It's hilarious seeing the same culprits crap all over this movie. Meanwhile, they'll watch and dissect Disney tripe everyone already knows is bad. Yeah. This one, it's nothing amazing. It's not world changing. Kingsman, I would say, was a fresher movie when it came out because it was so new. So this is like if you think about it with Kingsman 1, Kingsman 2, and The King's Man, this is really like the fourth movie Matthew Vaughn's done in this over-the-top spy style.
Yeah.
But I've liked all of them. They've all been, but average one, there's nothing wrong with an average movie that is just entertaining.
He's not average one, he's awesome one.
Or average.
He's saying it's an
awesome
average
one,
movie,
yeah.
but
Awesome one, yeah. I was.
No, you don't say he's an average one.
No, you're right. I was mixing it up, and it was because I'm a little bit heated about over the top hate on this movie. Like he drops a pin.
It's time for you to meet the real Agent Argylle.
So there's obviously a mystery and a conceit that they're working to kill off.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And I see Samuel L. Jackson still just does whatever movie lands on his desk. I'm
Yep.
okay with that too. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look bad to me.
No, it was. That's why I said it was a 7 to 7.5. It was a good time. I was entertained. It kept me engaged mentally through because, with a spy movie, there's usually a couple twists that you're trying to see coming. I did fairly quickly predict the major twist, and then also the secondary twist was also telegraphed pretty easily. But it was still stuff. Here's the thing, though. Just because it's something that you can predict doesn't make it a bad thing, because if the movie is laying the groundwork properly, someone who's paying attention should be able to predict it. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah,
if you're not trying to go out of your way to subvert expectation. And how often have we had people in our sphere of YouTube bitch off their minds because people tried to subvert your expectations, right? We went nuts about how they subverted expectations, and so it pissed us off. So
again,
yeah.
not to talk shit on anybody, but what I gotta point out is, do you hate the movie or do you hate Hollywood? You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of movies I hate. There's a lot of shows I hate. And why do I hate them? Because they freaking sucked. Do I hate Hollywood? Yeah. Those people are like 90% scum. Like there's just nothing, there aren't a whole lot of good people in Hollywood. There's a few. But with a few exceptions, I can watch something that comes out of Hollywood and be objective about it. Like, I mean, Stephen King has written several books that are some of my favorites, right? But if I saw that guy in a bar, I'd probably throw beer in his face because he's a complete prick. Like, I don't like him, but I like his books.
This is an average one is his evil twin brother.
That's true.
That is a good one. And this is the point. A middling movie doesn't bring in the clicks as much as crying about Disney does. And that's one of the things where chasing engagement can become its own negative feedback loop. And I never
don't let it break your objectivity. Like,
yeah, I never want to be
objective about it.
That's why I know we've gotten into a thing where I actually thought Bottoms was a pretty funny movie.
Well, me and you disagree on a lot of movies. We've had whole big freaking arguments about it, and guess what?
Exactly.
That's okay. We don't have to like the same shit.
No, and we get along pretty good, and we go and hang out pretty good, and we do.
I just think you're too forgiving sometimes, and you think I'm hypercritical. So,
well, you say I'm too forgiving about a lot of things. So, which is it's just my nature. My nature is that way, which is I don't find it to be a bad thing. And Copied Kitties, all right, I live near Hollywood. It's hard to be optimistic, but we can't stop hoping because you don't want to take.
I mean, part of it is we have to give them that dopamine hit when they do something right so that they keep doing it right. If we just tell them, we hate you, everything you do sucks. Oh, you tried to make that for us? It sucks and we hate it too. Then they'll just stop making movies for us.
Yeah. Imp over here with telling us that we would probably hate his taste in movies. If you're like, I mean, we hang out with Mad and we ended up having to watch Neil Breen movies. So
we've watched a lot of Neil Breen movies.
We've watched more Neil Breen movies than any regular person should. And then awesome one. My friend lived in Hollywood. Now he's in Tennessee. No state income tax in Tennessee. He saved himself about 12% of his income making that move.
That's a nice move. That's a nice move.
That's a solid
A lot
move.
of people looking at Tennessee these days.
Yeah. And let's look. So Florida, Tennessee, Nevada, Washington State, and Alaska all do not have income tax.
Yeah.
And out of the states I mentioned, Tennessee is probably the most mild climate because Florida's pretty hot and humid. Now, Tennessee, depending on which part of the state, you might be at a risk of tornado or two.
See, Imperatus doesn't know anything about me then.
It's not that bad, but I do own more kaiju and kung fu movies than any Caucasian should. I mean, you don't know. Slender is, I mean, if Mad has a weebology degree, Slender is I don't even, what would it be? A weeb, multiple PhD in weeb studies.
I have a multidisciplinary focus on all things weeb and weeb related. That includes weeb adjacents. So, for example, a good friend of mine ran an Asian import store when I was in the Navy, and he was a legal immigrant. And I would go to his place all the time, and he would sell the kung fu movies you don't get in America. He had like all these DVDs, and I would buy them. And so yeah, I've seen a lot of kung fu flicks. I don't know where the DVDs are anymore because keeping hard copies when you've got 5 kids running around the house is difficult. But
Let's see, lost count. It was around 300 gigabytes of kung fu movies. Look at Imp over here, like pretending like 300 gigs of movies is something to be impressed about. I mean, Slender,
300 gigs.
I mean, Slender, you've lost track of scrolling through the server I gave you access to. So currently, I'm about to fill up my 20 terabyte hard drives are almost full. So
But no, I've watched a lot of kung fu movies. Like what's the one? It's 27 chambers or 37th chamber, about a Shaolin monk who wants to become the greatest martial artist. So he has to go through all these chambers. And the one that I always remember is there were these 2 giant sticks of incense, right? And he had to stand between them, and they're burning, so they're like right next to his face, right? Yeah, 36 chambers. And what they're doing is they're testing his ability to follow things with his eyes without turning his head. So he's got to watch this thing moving all in front of him, and he keeps turning his head, burning his face on the incense. And I'm like, dang,
and
Shaolin monks don't fuck around.
here we go. Copied Kitty is pointing out that our watch of the Air Force Navy stunt flick was hilarious. That movie almost gave Slender an aneurysm.
Let's not call it a movie.
It was one of the greatest movies with Mad or What the Flick or whichever title it goes by now.
But yeah, I've watched a lot of kung fu flicks. All the Ip Mans, obviously. That one, the one about the one with the weird freaking martial artists who all used like an animal fighting style, and the one did snake. So he like held one hand like a C, and he would point out his 2 fingers on the other one and wave them up and down like they're a tail. It was really old. And I was like, what is this martial arts style?
We got E-Clay
There's
chiming
no
in. What's
martial
up,
art like
E-Clay?
that.
Yeah, crane style, snake style. Let's see. Basically, there's crane, tiger, snake.
Horse.
Was there a horse?
Horse stance, man.
Gotta love the ones that that rip of American movie and TV show music. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in Japan for a few years and on base, and we had access to a lot of the Japanese like samurai movies. Man, did they not care about like if you weren't decapitating people left and right? Yeah.
Mantis. The Bride of Slender just came in with another one of the forms you forgot. Mantis.
Imp says dragon and leopard are usually the other 2 styles.
Yeah.
Crouching tiger, hidden bowel movement. So
yeah, the funny thing is, most of the time, people won't even refer to it as tiger. They'll call it cat stance.
Yeah. Kitty stance.
No, cat stance. Don't ever call it kitty stance, okay? I tend toward cat stance. I like it because it allows you a lot of aggression, and especially for someone as tall as me, if you use cat stance, it helps you reduce your size a lot because you've got to crouch a lot with that one. So because when you're 6'3", you're kind of a big target.
Yeah, so rolling back to Argylle, it was a good, solid movie. It was entertaining. It's a throwback if you've ever seen like Romancing the Stone with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner from the 80s, where it's the not spy with the spy, Night and Day with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz, with the normal level of twistiness that spy movies have. I thought it was just a good solid time. I didn't have to worry. I didn't come out being mad about anything in the movie, and I enjoyed it while I was watching it. And movies, there's a place in this world for movies that do that. They don't all have to blow your socks off to be good movies. They don't have to be tens. They don't have to change the world. There's a place for good solid
Nah,
movies.
but then there's the other side of the house where it's like, if I do really want to watch a movie, do I go watch something new or do I go to one of my tens? Because like for me, I know it's not, but Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, that was a 10 for me. I've watched it like 4 or 5 times now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I'd watch a 7 that I haven't seen, a 7.5 that I haven't seen over a 10 that I have. Now this, because it's a spy movie and I enjoy spy movies and it looks very much like several other spy movies that I have enjoyed, this I'm probably going to watch.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, though, there's a lot of content out there and it's like, maybe I just don't want to watch something that's only a 7 at this point.
So I decided to go ahead, and one of the reasons I'm more agreeable to it is I went ahead and got that subscription service to the Alamo Draft House that they do, because I was like, oh, at least for this month it makes sense for me, because we've got our pre-order for Dune 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making you go to see that one.
You're not making me. I was like, yeah, man, let's get tickets. Let's do that. I want to see Dune 2.
Yeah, so we've got our pre-show, our pre-order for February 29th. We're watching it on Leap Year Day. So
Nice.
that'll be fun. So we've got those. I was like, I definitely want to see Argylle. I like Matthew Vaughn movies. I think I'll enjoy it. And then I was like, now that I've got the subscription for the month, the movie that I'm going to effectively not pay for, because the first, the subscription, once you've gone to 2, you've saved money. So the third movie would effectively be the free one. It's going to probably be Madam Web, because that movie looks like ass terrible. And I was like, I might go see it just to, if it's free, just to be able to talk about how bad it was. So
I do got to point something out, though. You shop like a woman.
Because I paid for this. Oh, because I still had to pay money to save money.
Yeah, I'm going to spend more money so that I get my savings.
Well, I knew I was going to spend the money on the Dune ticket.
Yeah.
And then I also get, by doing the subscription, I get a discount on when I buy tickets with someone else to come with me. So I save some money there too. And then, because a movie ticket is about $12 at the Draft House. So the subscription is $19 a month. And you could go to a movie every day if you wanted, but who's going to go see a movie every day? You want to go see the movies you want to go see. So if I do 3 movies in the month, that would be $36 worth of movies at 19.
Yeah, the weird thing is, I kind of want to go see Madam Web too, just because I know that's going to be bad.
Now, Slender, you may be shocked. I mean, really shocked to know that the showing that I'm going to has plenty of tickets available. It's amazing how little the amount of tickets that movie has sold.
Wait, they're not sold out?
I'm gonna live log in right here to see. Let's see the
now, don't get me wrong. I know we were just talking about rage farming and everything, but I want to rage farm off of Madam Web. I think it's going to be absolutely awful.
Right now, the 6:40 showing on Thursday the 15th, which would generally be, by the way, and on a weekday, your 7 o'clock-ish showtime is the most popular showtimes you have when you're in a theater, has 3 tickets sold. And it does open on Valentine, which is stupid. Why does it open in Valentine's Day? The Valentine's Day 640 showing has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tickets sold. So if that movie was going to be making any kind of money, it would have a lot more tickets sold by now. It's Madam time. Yeah, it's going to be the Morbin.
Oh boy. I want to go see it. I want to go see it.
I think this movie is going to be truly awful because apparently after the trailer dropped for this movie, Dakota Johnson, who was the lead, fired her agents. You'd think that she would have known how good the movie was when she was actually filming it. But I guess, there's a lot of actors who just assume when they do green screen and there's going to be special effects, it's going to be better.
I don't know. All I know is we watched that trailer and that was one of those ones where it's like, oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be really bad. Yeah. If this is what they think is the best they got, they are in trouble.
I want to ask, so Vertical Horizons over here with Morbius was glorious. In what context was it glorious? Like gloriously bad? Yes, maybe I'll agree with you. I really want to make sure that we're on the same page with it being gloriously bad. Yeah, it seems like every guy on YouTube who says they want to see it is because of Sydney Sweeney, who
and Madam Web, right?
Yeah, you know who Sydney Sweeney is, right?
No, I don't, and I don't care.
Mr. H of Mr. H Reviews is a big fan of hers.
I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but I am happily married. So obviously, like, I don't even see other women. Like, they don't exist. That's why I watch so much anime, because they're the only ones I can see anymore aside from my wife. So that's how I get my variety. What's that? A picture of some flowers? Oh.
I mean,
what are you showing me here? I don't see anything.
You're gonna pretend you don't see what she's famous for.
You can't prove that I'm pretending that.
Hey, chat, including Bride of Slender, do we think that Slender Dad is accurately representing his vision when he says all he sees is a background of flowers and nothing
Yeah, it looks
else?
like an orange background with some yellow flowers and maybe some blue birthday candles or something.
Awesome. One Slender's wife in the chat. Of course, he's watching his words.
Oh,
Morbius
awesome one. I think you've been around
Madams.
long enough to know that's not true. But she's not feeling very good today, so I'm not going to ask her to make me a sandwich. That would be mean.
E-Clay with the thinking hat on over here.
Don't anybody press X to doubt.
Yeah. Hey, Chad, spam X if you doubt Slender's veracity. Let's make sure that if we're spamming that button in time, the real-time event will trigger properly. Even Bride of Slender is doubting you.
She's not doubting me. She's laughing at something else entirely, I'm sure.
She came into the chat just to write ha 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 about something else entirely.
Put you on timeout again here.
Let's
I'm not
see.
gonna do it
Vertical
because it deletes all the comments. I didn't know that.
Let's see. Selling her assets for the movie would help, but we must avoid the male gaze at all costs. Yeah. So this is what she usually looks like.
If you want us to avoid the male gaze, put a fucking shirt on.
Well, look how they dressed her. And
not that I can see anything.
Now that, yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna bring up let's see. Let me make sure it doesn't get too pixely. this is, because they haven't released a ton of the movies yet. So this is how they decided to dress that girl in this movie to sell tickets. They decided to make her frumpy.
I mean, the skirt's cute. She's got kind of the girl next door quality going on, but yeah, like
Awesome one.
I
Double
don't know.
standard
That's
of
not a
don't look
great
unless
outfit.
she's an only fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see it was funny. It
Is
was
she
somebody
supposed
on-
to be like a high school student or a
Yeah,
college girl or
she's
what?
supposed to be a student of some sort.
Well, she needs to pick a different school because if that's the school uniform, it's awful.
Yep.
Yes, I can see her now. Okay.
Yeah, she's wearing glasses, so she.
The
blends
Bride of
in.
Slender said she pressed X to doubt several times. So, I mean, if it's not convincing her, then why am I even doing it? I reactivated my 4K vision.
Now, in fact, I didn't realize it before. She did triple X, so I'm thinking she was sending a subtle signal.
No, she wasn't. She's not feeling well. There's no way. She's got a headache.
Yeah, so I think Madam Web might be one of those movies where it's just so bad it's actually gonna be good, because as our friend Mad would say, it's no good if they make a bad movie where they're aware that it's a bad movie. You need them to be committing to the movie like they think it's a regular good movie.
Yeah, I think this one will be so bad that it will provide its own kind of entertainment.
Awesome one. The photo is blurry, so she looks like a dude. No, the photo is blurry, so it was obviously taken through girl vision.
I don't think it was blurry. From what I've heard, for a lot of these movies now, like the girls bind their chests. Like, what is that?
Here, I found a I found a better image that is crystal clear. This is this is the female group. You've got Dakota Johnson, who is Madam Web, wearing mom jeans right there.
I don't know what you're talking about. Do you think that truck back there does recycling or is it trash day?
And here I thought I was being clever. Yeah, I don't think any of these girls is particularly attractive to even worry about seeing. So
I don't know. It's a bunch of people running who probably can't run very well. And in those particular, like, none of them is wearing footwear that is very conducive to running either.
Maybe the hip hop girl.
Yeah, the hip hop girl, yeah.
She's got tennis shoes on. But Dakota Johnson's in her Doc Marteny looking boots. Those aren't really built for running.
Yeah, I agree with Awesome One. The girl in front looks 10 feet. Like, why is she so freaking tall?
Yeah, I don't think Dakota Johnson is particularly tall. The other girls might just be short. It could be, forced perspective from the way the angle of the photo is taking.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like any of it.
All right, let's just see how tall Dakota Johnson actually is. She's 5'7". So let's see what Sydney Sweeney's height is.
So are the three of them behind her like dwarves or something? What the hell?
Sydney Sweeney is 5'3", so she should be about 4 inches shorter. So the girl in the glasses and the school uniform should be about 4 inches shorter than Dakota Johnson.
Well, she looks a hell of a lot more than 4 inches shorter.
The hair, all horrible. Just add one blonde and you've got the Spice. Oh my God, you are right. You do have the Spice Girls. All right, so Dakota Johnson is Posh Spice. We've got Sporty. We've got Scary. We've got Ginger. We just need Baby Spice and we'd have the whole Spice Girls. And it's only a function of my age that I know the names of all the Spice Girls. So don't be hating on that. In fact, you know, they even have a little bit of the Spice Girls look. Is this movie supposed to be like a late 90s, early O's movie as well? I don't know when it's set.
Who knows? I guess we'll find out when we go watch the movie.
I'm amazed that you're like, I tried to get you to, I was like, hey, I know you were busy with work and things, so that was probably why you didn't go see Argylle. But,
yeah, like I said, I kind of wanted to go, but I just had too much work to do this week. Like I've been putting in 10, 12 hours plus every day. Just got things to close out, you know, things to do.
Yeah. So, extras on their phones, bad extras. Yeah. So Madam Web is coming out in a couple weeks and should be epically bad. Then Dune should arrive to hopefully rescue movies for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. This one, I'm interested in watching this one only because I think it will be so bad that there will be entertainment.
Yep. I do want to show something that I think is going to be pretty positive. We want to talk about some positive news because we like that. So here's something that is, good. This is the top 10 Nielsen ratings. We haven't done it in a while, but this is the beginning of January. And do you see what is the number 2 overall show?
Reacher? Okay.
Reacher. So, and look, Equalizer 3, just the movie made it. So
I see Grey's Anatomy is still going strong.
we've talked about like NCIS is on there.
NCIS cannot be beat.
Suits is still there. Big Bang Theory because people just
Dude,
want
Suits lost me because fucking what's her name? Meghan Merkel. Like she was one of the ones I was talking about earlier where I can't separate the actress from the character, and I freaking hate her. With like a fiery passion, I hate her.
Yep.
So that's what kills Suits for me at this point. And I loved Suits back in the day. I watched like 7 or 8 seasons of it.
So you have Netflix still. Did you watch that show Fool Me Once, or did anyone in your household watch it? Because look at it. Look at it, when one show gets that high, 3 billion minutes watched, and it's only got the 8-episode season. That means we've talked before. That's a genuine like being watched by most of the subscriber base kind of movie.
It's always hard to tell with Netflix stuff though, because I mean they put it right in your face. Like every time you open the damn app, they're like, watch this. Hey, watch this. You should watch this. We want you to watch this. Oh, you watched that? Well, now that that's over, we're going to autoplay this because we really want you to watch this.
Which is why it's funny because I'm going to switch over to the movie section and you'll see when a thing hits Netflix, even if it's an old movie, like the original John Wick, it gets put on Netflix. Netflix puts it up on the top banner and just lets people know, hey, we have this movie that came out 7-8 years ago. And John Wick
I just
Chapter
went and read
2.
the premise of this, and this does not sound like something I want to watch. Yeah. When ex-soldier Maya sees her murdered husband on a secret nanny cam, she uncovers a deadly conspiracy that stretches deep into the past. So she was the soldier. What was her husband? Oh boy. Not made for me.
Well, here's good old Jason Statham coming in strong. Meg 2, The Trench.
I can't believe that's in the top 10. That movie is awful.
Look, the original Aquaman movie got put on Netflix when this week happened. And so it all of a sudden, they were even able to push Aquaman because people probably thought that was the sequel.
I mean, let's be honest. At this point, the slogan for Netflix should be Netflix. There's nothing else to watch. Like,
Netflix, put it on in the background and walk away.
yeah. Like, you don't go to Netflix looking for something good. You go to Netflix looking for something just to have on the screen, you know?
Ooh, Vertical Horizon, Jason Statham versus Mother Nature. For the new Twister movie that's coming out, they 100% should have got Jason Statham in there to fight, like to kick it.
Yes, Bride of Slender. I'm gonna tell a story here. Little story for you guys. It's story time with Slender Dad. We watched The Meg as a family movie night, and we all thought The Meg was pretty good. Then, since we all thought The Meg was pretty good, we went and watched The Meg 2 as another family movie night. And we all thought it kind of sucked. And my one daughter, she wanted to watch something better. She was like, is there anything better? And we finally decided we could watch Jaws. And she watched Jaws. And it like opened her eyes, man. Like, after we finished watching that movie, Jaws, she was like, what happened? Like, they don't do characters like this anymore. Why? Dad, what happened? I was like, I don't know. Hollywood sucks now.
I would have
Because,
loved
like, she
to
watched
be
that scene where they're all just kind of
doing
sitting around the table.
the Indianapolis story scene. Yep.
Yeah, she watched that scene and she was just like these there's so much more depth to these guys. Just three guys on a boat, and it's like she's like, I care about them so much more because I feel like they're real people. You know, they have personalities. I know who they are. And so that I mean, The Meg 2, terrible movie, but it led to something good. So
Yeah, well, I don't blame the Meg. If you think about it, the Meg was a pretty decent movie, and Meg 2 got terrible. But look at what happened with Jaws versus the sequels. I mean, they made 4 Jaws sequels.
yeah, but you know the great thing about the Jaws sequels is they were all sharks. In the Meg 2, we had megalodons, we had all sorts of other weird fish, we had some evil guy with bombs, we had I don't know, prehistoric Komodo dragons, I guess.
I think I've talked about it before.
The Kraken, the fucking Kraken showed up.
One of the stupidest things I've ever seen in a movie was the idea that somehow Jason Statham, just by doing a nice breathing technique, was going to be able to free dive 3 miles down in water. No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, you were in the Navy,
3
Slender.
miles
What
down is crush depth for most submarines.
Yeah. So that's what I was about to say.
You think your gooey fucking Cadbury ass isn't gonna crush just like that?
Like, yeah, that was the thing.
If this can crush steel.
They gave some bullshit about, like, if he doesn't have oxygen in his lungs, it'll be okay. And I was like, you have oxygen in your blood.
Yeah.
You're still going to just
I mean, the water's still gonna crush your fucking skull at that depth.
Yeah. Older original movies, our only hope for a creative future. Kids don't know they exist, but AI will, so it'll be okay.
Yeah. Oh man, you could make an AI do amazing things if you just cut it off after like 2005. Like, we are going to give you all of the movies in history up to 2005. Master, why can I not watch movies from beyond 2005? No! They'll ruin you. You can't have those movies.
I think you've
Skynet desires those movies, Master.
I run my own Plex server, and I have my son on a steady diet of like 1980s cartoons and old shows. We're watching Transformers Generation 1. I got him into G.I. Joe from the 1980s.
Well, if somebody hadn't been watching fucking Doctor Who all day, maybe I wouldn't sound like a Dalek. Then after dinner, she's complaining to me. She's like, "Can you fix this?" And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "I have to like turn off the TV and turn it back on to get from one episode to the next of Doctor Who." And I'm like, "It ain't my Plex server. I'm not your tech support on this. I
Wait.
don't know how to fix it."
How is she having to do that? Number one, the Plex server should auto roll to the next episode if you just let it.
No, it keeps like erroring out. After when it tries to make that transition to the next episode, it throws up an error.
Well,
I don't know.
it sounds. Are you watching it on a TV, an Xbox, or what kind of system?
Roku.
Roku. You might just try down either update the app, like hit the little star button, and try to see if there's an update for the app on your Roku, or clear the cache for that app and then let it go in there. And Bride of Slender, it misspelled Dalek.
I know she did.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
Dalek. I don't know what a Dalek is, but she hooked on phonics worked for her.
Yeah, nothing existed before 2016. That's what they want you to think. We'll take down statues and all this stuff. I'm going to be doing some spring history trips with my son to go to historical sites before they tear down all the statues, so I'll have memories of them.
Yeah, that oh boy, let's not go. This is not a politics show. We're not going too deep into that. Although I'm sure everyone knows our political leanings, we don't make a big secret of it, but I don't want to go down a political rant.
No. Well, here's a fun thing.
I mean, I do, but I feel like nobody wants to hear that.
Do you notice which streaming service is not listed in this top 10 movies?
Looks like Disney Plus.
Correct. Acquired.
Yeah, I don't see any Disney Plus there.
The only thing Disney has that's really charting is Bluey, and that's something they license from Australia, and they can't merchandise because they don't own the rights. They can't make movies because they don't own the rights. They're basically they just pay to show the movie and to show the TV show on their service. And honestly, once that deal is up, I'm pretty sure Netflix is just going to back up the Brinks truck to Bluey and get it over there.
Yeah, probably.
Where?
One makes a joke there. Everything is political, including gardening and knitting. But the funny thing is, the Bride of Slender does a lot of knitting. I helped her come up with some stuff there, and you see, she was in some knitting circles talking with other people who knit, and she had to leave some of them because apparently they really don't like conservatives.
Oh yeah, my wife told me about that too. Like, I was like, how are they?
Like, they're full on TDSing in those knitting circles.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy, it's bad.
They're gonna spend their time. What's our project this week? We're gonna knit some more of those special types of hats that we wear.
Yeah.
But we've already made 27 of them. You're gonna make more of them. Dang it. It's weird that you wouldn't think that. I think I remember Carrie Smith got kicked out of some groups like that where she was just there knitting stuff, and they got wind of
I don't
her
even
doing
think
political
that the weird
things.
thing about it is that bad. Like, I think knitting is kind of weird. I don't see the appeal. Maybe because I'm a guy, I don't know. But like, I don't classify it as weird. It's kind of disturbing in a way because we're segregating our common ground. Like, that could be common ground, but we're segregating it. Just like everything. Like, there are so many places where you can find things in common with people you disagree with politically, but all those common grounds are getting segregated, where it's like, oh no, our politics are a big part of this, so you're gonna have to go find a conservative Dungeons and Dragons table, or a conservative group of gamers to play games with, because we don't want your kind playing the game with us. We don't want your kind doing those things with us. Like, or you could leave your politics at the door and talk about the thing that you're actually here to fucking do.
Yeah, awesome on bring. Yeah, she did. Like her church got moved off of its place that had been renting for, because some smaller churches, they don't build their own church for a while, and they'll rent space, sometimes in a movie theater or a auditorium type situation, and they just didn't like her stance about the current alphabet group that is dominant, and they kicked him out. It was pretty messed up. Yes, sports is becoming that way a little bit too. I do think hockey's a nice sport where you can still watch because the players revolted against it, not the organizations. If you watch Bourbon and Boarding, as hosted by our friends Brahma and That 70s Rock fan, they talk a
hold the
little about that.
line.
Yeah, because it's because, like I said, the players told them we're not effing wearing those jerseys. And
No, that was beautiful. I was impressed by that. I don't know much about hockey. The wife knows a lot about hockey. She tries to explain it to me, and I'm like, yeah, they're skating back and forth and hitting the puck around. Clearly, they're trying to get into the goal, but I can't follow the damn puck. And then apparently people didn't like it when they put like the blue fire on the puck and it would make the crazy line when they hit it. I liked that because I could see what the hell was going on.
Yeah, that was the Fox tracks when Fox got the NHL rights in the 90s.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It made it easier for me to understand what was happening.
I copied. I wonder what quilts look like these days. Psychotic patchwork, I assume. I guess each one is going to be for
They're probably quilted with blue-haired feminist pubic hair. I don't want them anyway.
No, look, my joke was safer. I was going to say that they make a patch for each antidepressant they're on. So
yeah, and they're all held together with various body hairs because that's what freaking people do nowadays. It's so original.
I'm guessing that our potential regular guest isn't going to be able to make it.
No, and we didn't have a whole lot of topics. We may have to wrap this up early. I may let you actually close out the show.
Even their game. Okay.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But hey, you know the advantage to having gay crabs?
Hold on, my dad and
eventually they all die off.
My dad had NBA season tickets, but mostly stopped for time. Just got the feeling the whole system is rigged for the large markets. So there is going to be a reckoning soon because all of these leagues, all of them, are so knee deep into gambling now. They're in with FanDuel or DraftKings. They do same day fantasy league betting. They do betting. They just do sports betting now. And there was a reason, Mr. Slender over here, who's from Illinois, probably knows one historical baseball team more than most, which would be the Black Sox. I'm sure that came up a lot in Illinois, right? Where Shoeless Joe Jackson and those guys, they got banned because they threw the World Series for gamblers so that they could bet on the games and make money. It is, you probably didn't see it, but do you know that the Jacksonville Jaguars are trying to get $20 million back from DraftKings? This is
you haven't. Are you talking to me?
Yeah,
you were talking sports. I figured it was time for me to go smoke, but then I was like, I don't want to leave them all alone. Matt's not here.
No, but I just want to. I'm going to show you this one because it's such a ridiculous story. Why is this?
I mean, if you're not talking about the Bears at a time that they were good, the Bulls at a time that they were good, or the Cubs at a time that they were good, then I probably don't know about it.
Look at this story. An employee of the Jacksonville Jaguars stole $20 million from them and used it to bet on sports gambling websites.
Oh.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars have turned around to FanDuel and they say, we want the $20 million back. And FanDuel says, F off. We're not responsible for the fact that that's where his money came from. You can get it from him.
And here's the thing, right? Like, I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with gambling from time to time. But when you're working with an organization who is specifically tailored to gambling, it's not like you're working with the most reliable or trustworthy people. You know?
Well, the bigger problem's going to be, like I was talking about with the Black Sox, there is a lot of money to be made by a player shaving points. Like basketball is famous for point shaving.
Mm-hmm.
One player can make a big difference in the point spread of a game. And so what if somebody, because now that sports betting is sports gambling is legal in most states, there's nothing that says guys can't start making under the table deals.
Even if it's not legal in your state, you can probably do it on the internet.
Yep. And this was one of the things, the cardinal sin in baseball, the thing that got Pete Rose banned for life was betting on gambling. There was very little evidence that he was betting against his team. Apparently he was always betting on his team to win, or he was betting on other games. But they ban him from life. They won't let him in the Hall of Fame. He's the all-time hits leader. He is a definitive first ballot Hall of Famer based on playing on the field. And he is banned because of gambling. And it's because Major League Baseball's stance is any gambling, the taint of it, it's just too easy. Once people know that there's a guy betting on things, it's going to taint the integrity of the game because people will question every outcome.
We watched a whole movie about it. One of our favorite movies, in fact. There was this guy in it.
Now save your breath and cool your parts. Hey, look, she wants a heck of 2 roof lights. The stylish house frame furniture, and the Scar cushions with matching shark back cover. Yeah, right. It's just terrible partial to the Periwinkle Blueberries.
That was all about gambling.
It was about, and it was specifically about how the reason that Jason Statham's character never wanted to be involved with Bricktop is once you get
that puts you in his debt, and if you're in his debt, you're in his pocket.
Yep. And then he's going to start using you so they can take win the gambling. It's all gambling. It taints the sports.
Yeah, so. He wants me because everybody knows that nobody takes a dive in my fights.
Copied Kitty, just leave that one on repeat. Yeah, it is good. It's a good one. We've got, let's see, what's the other one that we have from...
Protection from what? The Germans?
I gotta go back and watch that one again. It's so good.
That's one of those ones I go back to every couple of months and watch again because it's one of my favorites.
It is. It's so good.
All right, well,
but guys who have confessed to using steroids are still in the Hall of Fame. That's not right. Yes, Eclay, it is true because in baseball, at least, the one thing, there is a sign in every Major League Baseball locker room telling them that if they gamble, they will be banned. And it goes back to the Black Sox.
But there's not a sign that says if I use steroids, I'll be banned.
Yeah, there's steroids is, Major League, and honestly, I think Major League Baseball was kind of in on that. At the time, they were coming out of the strike. They wanted to get fans back into Major League Baseball. So Sammy Sosa, another Chicago guy for Slender, he probably remembers.
Yeah.
You remember when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were having that home battle for who was going to set the home run record?
Ironically, I do remember that. But the one I remember that was even worse is actually from the UFC.
Oh, was that
I had a fighter out of Chicago, Stephan Bonner, They got him for steroids, and it was stupid. I mean, it was like they all use various versions of steroids for recovery, and that's exactly what it was. But he popped during a piss test,
Do you want to read this comment from Bride of Slender?
and it ruined his career. What do they do when they blow out a knee and have to steroids to have to use steroids to repair it? Yeah, and that's the thing. The bride, that is exactly kind of what happened. But as the Bride of Slender, I mean steroids. It's steroids. She doesn't know how to spell it. She must not know how to spell it. But what usually happens is they are aware that you're on this regimen, and
Yeah, and you just have to
you're
go
going
off
to
of
be
it,
tested,
and
and it has to be cleared from your system before testing.
yeah, so you can 100% use what would normally be a banned substance in recovery if you're not doing the sport.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so
But
if
the
you're out of
problem is
commission due to
sometimes those
injury,
things don't clear your system, and then if they didn't clear your system and you're tested, you get punished for it. It's like what the fuck?
well, that's why you've got to be aware. You've got to be aware of what everybody. There's an old, the old wives' tale that if you eat like a poppy seed bagel, you're gonna test positive for opiates.
Yeah, can tell you that is not true.
No, yeah, it's
I have passed every urinalysis I ever had to take in the United States military, and one of my favorite things to do in the mornings was stop at the 7-Eleven and get a big old cup of coffee and one of those lemon poppy seed muffins. Those huge lemon poppy seed muffins. I ate them every day.
yeah.
And I never popped.
If you're a professional athlete, the general rule is that you're responsible for everything that goes into your body, whether you care to admit it or not.
Yeah.
And what Vertical Horizon says up here is probably the most accurate thing. All the real professional athletes, they don't use steroids anymore. They use HGH, because HGH is as he says, the bee's knees. That's the one that can really push you next level, because steroids lets you train harder.
Is HGH illegal?
Yes. I mean, it's illegal. It's in sports. It's a performance enhancing drug. It's not illegal. You can be prescribed it.
When I was on a workout regimen, like I was using growth hormones. Like they were supposed to stimulate the creation of more lean muscle mass.
It's not. Yeah, it's not illegal. You can be prescribed it by doctors.
Okay.
It is a banned substance because it is known to be so effective. It is,
it's like cheating. Why not just let them all use it?
That's the thing. So if you've seen Sylvester Stallone still, and this is something your boy Zach over at Comics Matter, formerly Diversity Comics, says, because he talked to a guy who was a trainer, and he was like, Sylvester Stallone is still jacked, and Arnold Schwarzenegger looks deflated and kind of old. And he goes, what's going on there? And the trainer was like, that's the difference between HGH and steroids.
Nice.
Because steroids does damage to your body long term, but HGH will just allow you to crush things.
I was getting the best workouts of my life when I was doing it was supposedly like some kind of natural growth hormone, testosterone, and nitric oxide.
Yep.
Like I could work out forever, and I didn't get sore, and I actually got bigger. But the problem is, when you're a tall, skinny guy, I mean, the second you stop doing it, you deflate immediately.
Yeah, but that's
right back to being skinny.
Yeah, so HGH is the true performance enhancing wonder drug kind of thing. But different athletes in different sports are going to use different things. Like, was it Lance Armstrong? Surprisingly,
dude, he was blood doping.
Yeah, he was blood doping. They use a lot of substances. Do you know that one of the main things they'll try to do is like chlorophyll? Like it's a derivative. It's because it oxygenates your blood.
No, I will not make out with you. You got Chlorophyll Man up here talking about God knows what. All you can talk about is making out with me. I'm here to
Chlorophyll,
learn,
more
people.
like
Go
borophyll,
on
right?
with the chlorophyll.
All right, Billy Madison. When I watched one of the documentaries where it went over all the stuff he was doing, and I was like, that's interesting. Because when you're a professional cyclist like that, one of the main things that gives you the advantage, especially going uphill at altitude, is being able to oxygenate your blood more effectively than your opponents. Because when you're on the mountain
Well, that's
stages,
exactly what nitric oxide
Yeah.
does. It over oxygen. Like the weird thing about nitric oxide when I was taking it was like I started looking like I was hulking out because like all the veins were over oxygenated, so like all the veins were like sticking out. It was crazy looking.
Yep. It was, but and Lance Armstrong had access to guys who could custom make that blood cocktail for him.
That is just fucking weird. Like, I don't know. No. I mean, if I'm dying, yeah, transfuse away, but like I don't want other people's blood. That's gross.
Yeah, so it was I mean, I get it, it's tough. I think honestly, that all, at least in the Olympics, I will go out on a limb and say countries from a certain zone with a certain type of government will tend to cheat freely.
Oh, you mean like when China sent a bunch of 13-year-olds to freaking perform their gymnastics?
Yeah. So my favorite thing was in 2008 when it was in the Beijing Olympics, and they ended
They're
up
like,
winning.
no, she 18. She 18.
They ended up winning the gold medal over the United States team, which has won the gold medal like every Olympics since, and had won the several before that. And they were showing these little girls who were winning all these events because in women's gymnastics is one of the rare sports where you actually have an advantage the younger you go because you weigh less. You can, there's less risk with doing like balance beam and some other activities.
Yeah, and you're a lot less likely to get hurt.
Yeah.
So you're probably not dealing with any injuries.
Yeah, but so the Olympic rules, I believe, are you can be 15, but you have to be turning 16 the year of the Olympics. So basically you're supposed to be 16 to compete.
Yeah,
And,
but there's a minimum age.
Yeah. And Tina's over here, right? Center of gravity is less, so you have the advantage. And these girls were,
and that's the other thing. They were young enough that it was like they have not even developed their, what's the biggest thing that's working against female gymnasts?
Yes, the Sydney Sweeneys. They didn't develop the Sydney Sweeneys yet.
Yep.
And the other thing was, I worked in the dental field for a while. You could see from these girls smiling, I was like, those are primary teeth that are gone by the time you're 13. And they still have
young.
them. And they still have them. So they still have baby teeth that are supposed to be gone before you're 13. And they were like, we've got it. Well, they supplied a birth certificate. And I was like, my ass. You think China wouldn't forge that? Whatever.
Oh, we don't have access to the official documents. Like,
yeah.
And
of course, the Olympic committees is like, we
contract those out to Sweden. They make documents.
So formal protests were made, and of course they were like, we did our investigation, and we found that all the official documents supplied by the thing were in order. And I was like, sure, because the people who make the official documents wouldn't be able to give you ones that were wrong. But yeah, and
I'll
Tina
tell you what,
if
the people that made the official documents wouldn't be able to give you the ones that they wanted to give you, there may be a government coming to deal with them. So they probably make those official documents look real official.
Yeah. So Tina's correct that Sydney Sweeney's and hips make gymnastics very difficult.
Yeah.
Big slappers when you do 20 flips. And women's gymnastics in the United States is a very power-based stuff because we have gymnasts who are actually of age, so we focus on power moves that don't tend to be things that little people can do, because you can't do the jumps and the other power stuff because you're not strong enough yet. So that's why.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I don't even think it's the little people can do it thing. I think it's just a matter of like, when you're that young, you've got a lot more flexibility, you've got a lot less stuff getting in the way, and you're a lot less likely to take damage if you do overextend.
well, I just meant some they just don't have the strength for some of the power stuff that our
Yeah.
girls do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and the Olympics is coming up again this year, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh God, can we wrap it up now? I'm about to hit the end stream button early. I don't want to talk
just
about the
because we talked
Olympics.
about sports too much. Yeah, I got you.
Ugh, it's getting to me. And we've covered all our topics. I'm trying to give you an opportunity to close out the show because I feel like I've run the cutting it off instantly thing. I've run that bit long enough. I feel like that bit can end now.
I'm trying to give our loyal fan base most of what they expect from the stream in terms of the time and content.
Ugh, you're lame.
Whatever.
I don't think we have a whole lot left to talk about.
I know, and that's what we're at. But it's not like we don't ever vogue and just talk about whatever the shit we want anyway.
Yeah, but I've already finished my 2 beers.
Chow weirdos. Awesome ones anticipating the kill button and just wanting
Awesome
to get
one's preempting my ending the stream.
He was like, I'm gonna get out before you do.
I'm hovering over that button, Lil Chad, if you want to do an outro.
All right. I just wanted to say thanks to everybody who came to watch the show this week. We appreciate it. Whether you were directed here from Culture or whether you're one of the regulars who actually just comes here every week, thanks for coming in. We'll be back next week with, I don't think Madam Web is going to be the week after. So that'll be a fun one because I can't wait to hear Slender on that.
It's gonna be fun
because there's nothing like a good old Slender rant. And look, we get to actually see the good night messages. Good night, Tina. Good night, E. Clay. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.